the time too. Leave it in, please. It will be such a fun beginning. So you need a kind of a container that holds water that is enough for paper this size, and you just let it be in the water for a little bit of time.
And you said it was 300 grams or 100?
This is, yeah, no, you have 300 grams, so that needs to be longer. This you just dip in and out and it's okay. You put it on the board and you rub out the water. Now this paper has the watermark, so I can see I have the right side up.
Oh, okay. Let me
Not
zoom.
all paper has a watermark.
I don't know if you
Can you see it?
I don't know. I'm half blinded.
So this is the best side of the paper. It has a layer that kind of makes you able to remove a little bit of paint if necessary, etc. So if there's a watermark, this is the way to see it. If there's, you should be able to read it. If there's no watermark, you can actually look at the paper, and if it looks regular, that's the wrong side.
Okay.
So the more random the grains are, the better, the surer you are that it's the right side to paint on. By the way, if it's from a roll like this, it doesn't really matter, because then both sides are kind of okay. They've had the same treatment. Then to stick it to the board, you need paper, what do you call it? Paper tape? Yeah, probably. It stinks terribly, just so you know.
If it stinks, it's working.
Yeah, it's such a good rule. Paper stinks as well, by the way. Masking fluid stinks.
Yes,
everything
it does.
stinks. Luckily we don't.
Maybe we do.
Okay.
We just cancel.
This is super sticky, so always put it with the not sticky side on the paper, or not at all, but this is my habit to do it like this.
And you do enough of it, so it's probably...
So, yeah, well, I do this like a couple of hours per week. And then here's where you need the sponge.
The sponge.
The sponge. This is for Liz, the sponge. You wet this like that, like you would do with a stamp.
And that's
similar,
like the sticky side
yeah.
down.
Do you use normal paper tape, or is that not so good?
I'm not
Because I
sure
think
what
you have
normal paper
something else
tape
here,
is.
or
It's
is
the
that
No,
same
this
one?
is the same, just another
okay.
brand. I buy because they're pretty expensive, but I buy these when there's a discounted one.
Yeah.
And sometimes they have stripes,
But
but they are good too.
With glue on, like pre-glued tape, that doesn't work.
It works, but it's less good. This
Okay.
really sticks it to
Yeah.
the board, and because it will shrink enormously when it dries.
Yeah.
And with the other tape, you can never be sure that it stays on. That's
Okay.
more or less
Yeah.
the reason. Plus, I've learned it like this in art school. That's also a very important reason. If you do this, make sure that there is enough covered of your paper, covered with the tape. Because if you only do a tiny little border like that, it often, still breaks loose. Because
Right,
the
'cause it
power, the force that this has is really something, you wouldn't expect. Yeah. I'm slightly overdoing it. This is so tiny, it doesn't have much force. But if you later on do the biggie,
Yeah.
you'll see.
So the bigger the paper, the more force it has
Yeah.
to come off.
Yeah, exactly.
So give it a thick margin.
And well, very well said. Very good, Sonia. But it's true, if you do small parts, it's less important. But with the bigger part, you'll see that also the boards go a bit like that, as you may
Yeah,
have noticed.
yeah.
It's because of the strength of that paper.
Yeah.
So there we go for the last one. And in this weather, it dries really quickly. So
And
have
do
to
you
be
dry
fast.
your boards outside normally?
Yeah.
Okay.
I dry them outside. Don't put them in front of the heater in the winter, because that's not so good. They have to dry in a natural way.
Okay.
Putting them in the car in the sun works really well.
Good idea.
No, but this will take very little time. I always do it way in front of when I go painting, so then you can just pick your dry one up afterwards.
And that's it.
This is it. Stretched.
Stretched.